Hello, and welcome back to this week's Tuesday episode of the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, founder of Australia's first online Kbeauty store Style Story and resident Kbeauty expert. You are in the right spot if you want to hear everything that's going on in the world of Kbeauty straight from the home of Korean beauty, Seoul, South Korea. Welcome back to another week's episode. I am happy to have you here with me. I hope that everyone that celebrates the Lunar New Year holiday had a really nice holiday last week. It is, of course, the year of the tiger. So that is a big year in the Chinese zodiac, which is, of course, celebrated in many countries across Asia, even in Australia. Actually, Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year is a pretty big deal. I remember from when I lived there, but of course here in Korea it is a very big deal. It is one of the two biggest holidays that we really have on our calendar, and it is a time when pretty much most of the country will at least take a rest for a couple of days. So in general here over the Lunar Year holiday, which of course in Korean we call Seollal, that is a time when a lot of people stop working, cafes and things like that close down, restaurants, banks, everyone sort of takes a break. So the way we do it here in Korea is that we always have 3 days off over the two big holidays, Chuseok and Seollal. We will get the day before the holiday off and then the day after the holiday off. So it just so happened that last week in Korea, Seollal 날, the actual day of Seollal, was the Tuesday. So we had a break over Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So that was really nice just to take a couple of days off. And of course, I am in the thick of moving. I mentioned to you guys a couple of weeks ago that Style Story is moving our office in Seoul. So that has been really just a little bit of a headache to try and get all of our stuff moved from our old office into our new office. So I have been pretty busy with that. So it was nice to escape from that for a couple of days. I hope that everyone that celebrates Lunar New Year had some time off. And even if you aren't Asian or you're not living in an Asian country, you know, there's plenty of ways you can get involved in New Year festivities, even if it is just, you know, going and eating some delicious Asian food. I know that was one of my favorite things to do when I was back in Australia, to head out to one of the Asian restaurants, or particularly the Chinese restaurants in Australia. I know will do like a lion dance or have something like that to sort of celebrate the New Year. So look, I hope you got into the festive spirit, even if this is not one of your traditional holidays. And let's jump straight into the Korean news headlines. Of course, the headlines did not stop coming through, even though we had a break last week. And one of the most interesting ones that I saw is that a recent analysis has shown that men here in Korea are buying more cosmetics and they are wearing more leggings. So Shinhan Card, which is one of the big credit card companies here, released the results of one of the analyses that they had done about card spending and what people are spending their money on. And what it showed is that from January to September in 2021, men's purchases surged 111% on leggings. So they're buying a lot more leggings. And I don't think they're talking about leggings in the same way that we would talk about them, you know, like tight pants. I think they really mean like athleisure. So, you know, the kind of pants, in Australia we call it activewear. So that's the kind of thing I think the men are buying, and they're wearing them, you know, I guess around the house or when they go out, you know, near their house. And then women's spending also increased 55% on the same thing as well. But also men are spending more on their skincare, and they are also spending more on Pilates. So apparently their spending on Pilates rose 19%, and then cosmetics increased from 25% to 30% as well. So basically Shinhan Card was saying that obviously there is a tendency to consume regardless of, you know, existing boundaries in the consumption area. So, you know, people are getting a little bit more open-minded in terms of what kind of sports they're doing, what kind of things they're putting on their face and what they're wearing. So I thought that was an interesting one. A lot more Korean men are getting a little bit more casual, a little bit more comfy. And I mean, I've certainly noticed that as well. I remember when I very first moved over here, the first time I ever came to Korea in 2011, I recall how formally everyone dressed. I was at uni at the time, and I could not believe how many people, like women, girls at uni, were getting around in like full on high heels, like 6-inch heels. They were wearing skirts and jackets and just dressed to the nines. Whereas when I was in uni in Australia, people would be lucky if they had shoes on sometimes. Like they would literally just roll out of bed, basically in pajamas, and sort of come to campus and be, half awake, floating around doing their lectures. It was not like that in Korea. And even when I moved back here in 2016, I noticed that, at work, everyone got really, really dressed up, men too, in suits and jackets and everything. And that has definitely changed. I'm noticing a lot more casual wear, even for men, in the kind of shoes they're wearing, like a lot less, of the really rigid, hard leather shoes, and a lot more just casual, comfortable stuff that you can jump on and off the subway in and, run around to all your meetings. So I guess, that's probably been maybe even quickened by the pandemic. Obviously, if you're working at home, there's not the same need to go out and buy a 3-piece suit and be wearing, really uncomfortable clothing. So look, Shinhan Card, that's the results that they found of their research. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. Obviously, men in Korea are pretty into cosmetics compared to men in other places, I would say, as a baseline. They tend to do a lot more procedures and things like that than men in other places, including things like, eyebrow tinting and eyebrow procedures, like we were talking about last week, having their brows, semi-permanently tattooed. That's a lot bigger here than I've seen in other countries. So there you go. That was the news headlines for this week. And now we're going to jump into the question of the week. So I recently did an AMA and Ask Me Anything on my Instagram stories. So I thought I might as well just use one of the questions that came up there. And that was, how did you learn Korean? So I posted a story a couple of weeks ago speaking in Korean because, it's one of the questions that I get asked quite a bit. Can you, upload a video of you speaking in Korean? Even though I don't speak Korean, I would like to hear you speaking. So I did that. And then, of course, someone was asking, well, how did you learn it? So look, in general, I would say Korean is one of the most difficult languages that I have ever learned. I also speak fluent Italian. I lived in Italy when I was 17 to 18, and compared to Italian, Korean is just like a whole different ball game, basically. I also learnt Chinese from when I was a kid. And obviously Chinese, the difficulty there is the characters. That is the hardest thing, I think, for people to learn. But the grammar in Chinese is very, very simple. So the grammar and the vocabulary in Korean are the two most difficult things by far. I'm still learning Korean even to this day. I'm watching TV and I come across words all the time that I've never heard before. So I'm, having a look in my dictionary. What does that mean? But this is how I did it. So the first thing is, I know some foreigners in Korea reckon that they managed to learn Korean without ever attending classes. I don't know how realistic that is for the vast majority of people. I think attending classes, if you can, it doesn't need to be in Korea. It can be wherever you're living. But I think that is a really, really good way, just because how different certainly English to Korean is. I think to have a teacher there that you can, bounce ideas off and ask questions to without annoying them is a really good idea. I found that the Sogang University textbooks were the most useful coming from English to Korean. I thought that they were very precise, that they are laid out in a really, really user-friendly way. I've studied from a lot of different university textbooks. Sogang is the one that I had the most fun learning from, for sure. So that's what I would recommend. I actually managed a couple of years ago to do a semester of classes at Sogang University as well, once I got into the advanced levels, and that was amazing. It was such a good opportunity. I'm so glad I got to do that. That is, if you have a bit of time on your hands, I had to try and juggle work and going to class, and that was really, really a struggle. So I only managed to get there for a semester, but that was amazing. That was a really, really worthwhile experience for me, and I think it put me into a very, like, the next level up from where I was when I was just studying more casually. So for sure I recommend Korean classes. That's my number one tip. The next thing is, you are not going to be able to learn Korean unless you very quickly expand your vocabulary. And so I think learning from flashcards is a really, really helpful way to learn a lot more vocabulary really quickly. There is an app called Quizlet. So Quiz, Quizlet, and that is a really, really good app for just drilling vocabulary. I remember I used to sit on the subway when I was going into work every morning and just drill vocab on my phone. And that was a really, really helpful way of expanding my language. My number three tip, if you are trying to learn Korean, there is a resource called Talk to Me in Korean, TTMIK, and that is so, so helpful just to learn, to listen to Korean spoken, and they just have some really, really practical tips. I don't think listening to that alone would get you there, but that was just one of the things that I did to help improve my Korean. My number 4 tip is, once you actually can start to speak, I would recommend, if you can, trying to meet with a tutor, even if it's just for an hour a week, to practice your speaking with a native person, and preferably someone that's going to correct you when you make mistakes. That's really important. Like maybe if you're trying to do the same thing with friends, they feel like they can't criticize you, or they don't want to tell you, hey, that's wrong. So someone that's happy to say, no, your pronunciation is off, or no, that sounds awkward, or this is how we actually say it. That is really, really helpful. And then the last thing I had, that my number 5 tip, was to learn with a goal in mind. So your goal could be literally anything. Like, hey, next time I'm in Korea, I want to be able to order from the menu in Korean, and speak to the waiter. That's my goal. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe there is an exam you want to pass. Maybe you want to do your topic exam, the test of proficiency in Korean. That is, I certainly studied for that, and I found that really, really motivating. The other thing is, I had to study and get to a certain level, at an advanced level in Korean, to keep my visa, to actually get a long-term residence visa here. So that was really, really motivating for me. I knew that I wanted to get that visa, so I studied Korean with that goal in mind. So I think having a goal is always really, really helpful, and it can be literally anything. Maybe you're dating a Korean and you want to be able to have a conversation with your, partner's parents next time you're at their house. Something like that. Can be anything. Maybe your goal is to be able to watch K-drama without the subtitles. I know that was when I was, learning Italian. Some people told me, oh, I want to learn Italian because I want to listen to opera without this, without the book there telling me what they're singing. So it can be anything, but I think having a goal is really important. So my top 5 tips, basically, in a nutshell: number 1, Korean classes; number 2, use flashcards; number 3, talk to me in Korean; number 4, meeting with a tutor to practice your speaking; and then number 5, learn with a goal in mind. That's my top 5 tips. Obviously, there's plenty of other things out there, but I think those are the top 5 that I found the most helpful for learning Korean. And of course, you never stop learning, really, particularly when you weren't born in a culture or a country. I feel like, even though I have no problems at all with my Korean, there are new words I come across literally every single day. So there you go. I think it's a lifelong kind of thing. And now for this week's new product releases. So these are some new products that you will find at the moment on the Style Story website, stylestory.com.au. The first one is Charmzone's DeAge Retinol Pro Skin. Now, skin is this word that you will see pop up in some product names, and you might think, well, what is a skin? A skin is another way of saying toner. So some Korean products, particularly ones that are targeted more for the Korean market than the Western markets or the English-speaking markets, will just use the word skin, and that is a toning product, so a toner. So this is a refining toning water, and it aims to even out the skin tone and also boost your skin's radiance. So it is a gel type toning water, so a lot thicker than a typical toner that you might be familiar with, and it feels really, really hydrating on the skin basically from the first time you use it. The Charmzone says that it will enhance elasticity, collagen, and elastin, and it is ideal to boost moisture in dry and mature skin types. And the thing that is a little bit different about this product from other products that you may be familiar with that contain retinol is that they've actually double encapsulated their retinol in the formula, and that is really, really beneficial for delivering the nutrients directly to the skin. With a lot of these active types of ingredients, it's really important that they don't lose their benefit or effects, before they even touch your skin. And encapsulation is one of these really, really effective new techniques for making sure that you get the maximum dose delivered actually where it's needed and where it can be used. So they are using an amphiphilic block copolymer method. That's how they're encapsulating their retinol. So quite an effective technique. And this is, of course, a toning product. So it contains 3,000 of these double encapsulated retinol capsules to enhance absorption. So a really, really great product for people that do fall into the dry and mature category that are wanting to incorporate a retinol product, a Korean retinol product, one of those rare unicorns. Although, as I mentioned on one of our previous episodes, I am seeing more and more retinol products enter the market. Charmzone is a very, I would say, old Korean beauty company. They have been making products for 40 years. Very, very popular in Korea. This is one of those brands that is way more popular in Korea than it is certainly in other countries overseas. And their brand model is actually Jang Nara, who is a really, really popular Korean actress. She's been in a whole bunch of dramas, I guess. You'll be very familiar with her if you've watched things like Fated to Love You. She was in a mukbang drama a few years ago that I am not going to remember the name of. Something about an empress. Anyway, she was the empress in that. She's a very, very famous Korean actress. And she is now 40, and I swear she looks about 23. So she's their brand model. So well picked, I would say. And then the next product, the new product that is also from the same line, and this is Charmzone's DeAge Retinol Emulsion. So an emulsion, if you aren't familiar with it, is a step that you will sometimes see Koreans use in their routine. And it's basically like a lotion style product. So a much lighter type of moisturizer. You would use it in your routine, usually after serum and before maybe your oil and moisturizer. So you can go based on the texture, but an emulsion is just an additional layer that you can use to, maybe introduce some new ingredients into your routine that it's not going to weigh the skin down. It's not as thick as a traditional moisturizer. So that's what an emulsion is. And again, it's the same thing. They're working to enhance elasticity, collagen, and elastin to smooth lines and tone skin. And you get just a really, really moist and plump skin texture when you apply the emulsion. And again, it has this double encapsulated retinol in it that works to deliver the retinol directly to the skin. So I would say this is going to be a really, really good product for people who have the drier or mature type of skin, or potentially someone that does have oily skin but doesn't want a really thick, heavy product. This might be a good moisturizing facial lotion for you to incorporate into your routine. So they are just some of the new releases that we have on the Style Story website at the moment. So go and check them out if you are interested in this category of retinol products, and particularly for, mature skin. If you do have mature skin or maybe even oily skin, take a look at the emulsion. I think that would be a really great one for people that fall into that category. So that is all I have for this Tuesday's episode. Now, on Thursday, for our deep dive, we are going to be taking a look at some skincare and makeup tips and tricks for Valentine's Day, which is just around the corner. In case you haven't checked your calendar, the 14th of February, it's coming up. So let's chat then. And in the meantime, I will see you on Style Story.